town, I met the grain trains rolling down every day. 100 trains, every train, 100 cars, every car, 100 tons, every ton, 100 sacks, every sack, 10,000 grains. And that's what cities get from trains. Some politicians lacking brains said in voices dripping sweet, we don't really need these trains, railroads all are obsolete. They're union strong, it makes demands, they guard their yards with railroad dicks who kick our cops clean off their lands, do not like our politics. As I was going up from town, I met the grain trains rolling down every day. 100 trains, every train, 100 cars, every car, 100 tons, every ton, 100 sacks, every sack, 10,000 grains. And that's what cities get from trains. So the politicians passed some laws to screw more money off the trains and deeper dip their pudgy paws in more control of railroad gains. The railroad said, get off our land. They went on strike to show their peak. The grain trains stopped their rolling and the city starved within a week. As I was going up from town, I met the grain trains rolling down every day. 100 trains, every train, 100 cars, every car, 100 tons, every ton, 100 sacks, every sack, 10,000 grains. And that's what cities get from trains. Hunger riots burned and rose and battered down the State House door, and all those fat politicos were killed and eaten by the poor. And with the city out of joint and no more politician men, the railroad said they'd prove their point and sent the grain trains down again. As I was going up from town, I met the grain trains rolling down every day. 100 trains, every train, 100 cars, every car, 100 tons, every ton, 100 sacks, every sack, 10,000 grains. And that's what cities get from trains.
Good morning, Minecraft. How y'all doing? Wandering Beekeeper here. Okay, so we have started off with Eat the Rich, the song, properly titled Green Train by Leslie Fish, as noted on the credits here on the screen from the album Skybound. Now, Skybound was released by Prometheus Music, which is no longer extant, and the rights, I think, went over to some guy named Eli, and can't track him down, and nobody wants to talk with Leslie anymore. She kind of went off the rails a couple years ago. We're not sure what happened, but she kind of crawled up into a cloud and pulled the ladder up after her. The album Skybound was released on cassette tape. Had a yellow cardstock insert printed in black. Looked like it had been made at Kinko's Copies, and it may very well have been those first. The early days of the distribution of folk music within the science fiction fandom community was, yeah, it's kind of like the exchange of punk tapes. A lot of these, they were spun in somebody's back room. Somebody had a duplicating recorder, high-speed duplicator, and could run a couple of cassettes at a time. It was all done on a shoestring budget and sold at conventions in the dealer room, and the live performances were all free. Everybody got together in a big room and brought a guitar or whatever, and a bottle of something or whatever. You went around in a circle and you could pick, pass, or play. They still do that, I think. Sure, I haven't been to a convention since before the pandemic began. It has been a thing. Just don't see myself ever being able to do a convention again. that's another thing. We want to talk about Minecraft, and specifically, I want to talk about, let me find my game screen here, specifically about a couple of mods here. I want to go back and pick something up before I go on to the create world that I'm currently building in. This is foundational stuff and goes into the thought process that is creating the current game world, the current railroading world that I'm building with Create. I learned to use a lot of tools here. Sadly, none of them are going to be able to carry forward. This is Minecraft 1.16.5. It's it's kind of bright. The tech mods that I wanted to use here, immersive engineering to start with, and I'll reveal a bit more and talk a bit more as we get there. Only went up to 1.16.5. So I set up 1.16.5 and took advantage of this happy accident here to drop in the biomes you'll go, which 1.16.5 Biomes You'll Go was the last version that had the Glowshroom Bayou, which had Glowcane. I have never found anything like Glowcane in any other mod. If you know of anything that has phosphorescent plants, luminescent plants, let me do a quick thing here. There we go. I was on a Pixelmon server before the Pixelmon implosion that had this mod for their biomes. My base was lit entirely by luminescent plants. Glowcane, besides glowing itself, can be crafted into Glowcane block, which then can be used as a building material. And I embedded Glowcane block in the sidewalks and walkways, here and there, at regular intervals, and I had color-coded paths. One going off to the main field, and another to the berry grove, and another out to the practice area, and so forth. Comes in 3 colors. Got all 3 of them here. We got pink, and we got purple, and we've got blue. And yeah, it's just I grew a few stands of it, but then I ended up abandoning this world and not doing anything further with it. We'll get into why in just a few minutes. Shame. Finally had Glowcane and then didn't have the opportunity to use it. This is industrial hemp, which the immersive engineering mod starts with. You start by growing industrial hemp. For those of you asking the painfully obvious question, no, your character cannot smoke it. You cannot process it into weed. You cannot craft it into a joint. And that covers the drug and alcohol warning on my stream for the, the, this particular session. Thank you. Haven't made a dick joke yet, but I just made a dick reference, so there's my adult content warning. So, yeah, you start by growing industrial hemp. And you process the industrial hemp for a variety of things. Let us put time set noon so that we can see what's going on here and have I got going. Okay, what I'm wearing here is a Faraday suit. Um, it is made primarily of aluminum, and it prevents me from being electrocuted because I'm going to be tap dancing all over a bunch of high tension power lines in the process of this tour. So yeah, I've got this Faraday suit enchanted like armor because it's what I'm able to wear. Various tools, the voltmeter, the wire cutters, which you need to recover your wire. Don't just break your connectors. Cut the wire, recover the wire, then pop the connectors. You know, we'll get into that. Let us just walk inside and work through here. As usual, I started out by hermit crabbing into a woodland mansion. This would have been, in hindsight, a bad decision for the railway because I would have been doing an awful lot of navigating through hills and stuff and building up bridges and been a lot of work to get it through. But what the heck? Water into the bridge. Usual smelter. System's currently making iron. This one has made some titanium. And oh, we are going to get into some metals. Let me tell you, there are so many different metals and ores and powders and stuff to explore. Immersive engineering, the engineer's workbench is a critical item. You have to have it in order to make rather a lot of things. Right now I've got it set up for making shells for a gun. Yeah, immersive engineering includes firearms. If you're one of those that wants to play Minecraft in order to, go kick ass or whatever, the engineer's crafting table has its own storage and will do a variety of other things. I never really needed it because I put in Tom's storage, and that kind of obviates the need for a lot of things. These are blueprints that some of them you can make, some of them you have to find out there. And getting arc furnace electrode blueprints requires finding a specific kind of villager and trading with them until they become a master and sell these. The engineer's hammer, because of course the mod has its own special tool, the engineer's hammer does quite a lot of different things. And there is an engineer's manual, because of, this is an engineering mod, of course there's a manual. Engineers actually documents things, So you start with going through the industrial hemp. The seeds, you press for biodiesel, you make tough fabric. You will use so much tough fabric. You need it for making windmill sails. You need, if you've played Create, you know about windmills and windmill sails. Oh my gosh, you will need so many windmill sails. From there, you start poking into metals, and there are a number of ores that are found. Let's just poke around. Trying to remember where I put everything. Immersive engineering is basically... Oh, hi. Yeah, oh yeah, it's also really loud. I should have pointed that out. Let me step away from here for just a second. And the Faraday helmet that I am wearing, you'll notice, has a set of Mickey Mouse ears crafted onto it. It has ear protectors built into it. So, because without them, it gets incredibly freaking loud. This is very much the Industrial Revolution. If you are not familiar with the history of the Industrial Revolution, I should warn you, this is my specialty period as a historian. I've written some stuff previously. I was the lead writer and editor on a role-playing game published by FASA, the same people who created Shadowrun and MechWarrior and Earth Dawn, called 1879, steampunk game in the same universe as Shadowrun and Earth Dawn. I think history went a bit differently. So, you start off with a coke oven. This is the Industrial Revolution. We have to first burn down the coal under pressure to create coal coke. Coal coke is our primary fuel for the Industrial Revolution. By smelting the coal down into coke, we also produce creosote oil. Now, creosote oil does not have a huge amount of use in the base mod, but if you get a couple of extensions, but there's an extension that has plastic production, which brings you all the way up pretty much to the end of the Industrial Revolution and the invention of bakelite. But let's try and stay on course here. My lecture's drifting. So we start with the coke oven. Coke oven is set up so that the creosote oil from it can be pumped out. There's an electric pump up there. I've got one sitting here in my inventory, a fluid pump. This is electrically powered. All the machinery in immersive engineering is electrically powered. You have to get electricity going. That is one of your early things. There are actually 3 tanks here, and the third tank is at the top is half full. I have produced way more creosote oil than I just bloody well know what to do with. I just kept adding tanks. The alloy kiln is where we start making some more interesting metals. It is fired by coal coke. It will not run on standard coal. And it allows me to combine, for example, copper and zinc to make brass. We've seen that in Create. Takes a crap ton of coke to run all this stuff. So yes, there's 4 coke ovens going here. Crude blast furnace. This is the first one you build, and the crude blast furnace allows you to get steel production, and that gets you to much more impressive stuff. The beacon is there because I put in a Tom storage and completely forgot that the beacon trick does not work in 16.5, and I just didn't bother taking the beacon down. I just couldn't be immersed. There comes a point where you're like, fuck it. Alright, we've got... Oh lordy, that's gonna be the diesel generator. Alright, let's go out the front here, around the other side. I'm trying to remember where I put everything. I did not walk through this world. Alright, that stuff is above me. There's a lot of stuff above me. Let's head upstairs. Shame on me, I did not walk through this world before stream. Okay, whoa-ha! Yeah, here's where all the big machine is. Let's just walk around here until we get out of range of it. The bloomery is incomplete. I was going to be doing some things with it, and then I ran into a couple of major glitches that pretty much stopped me with this world. We haven't hit that wall yet. Alright. get in here. Okay, this thing is just impossible. I'm not going to be able to... Wow. Wow. Okay, hold on a second. Let me... That's not viable for stream. That is really not viable for stream. I'm going to knock my master volume just way the heck down. See if that'll take care of the problem. There we go. It gets a bit crunchy as we get up to it, but the crusher is one of the first machines you need to build, and you will need to use it a lot. You will probably be building 3 or 4 of them at some point if you're going to do this mod really heavily. It produces just all sorts of crap. I'm going to clean my inventory a little bit since I'm not building here. I don't need to carry all this bullshit. Let's just clear it all out. And I'm going to grab all this dirty crush here and haul it over. And let's see, that's ore chunks. That's going to need to go back in, I'm pretty sure. Let's see, a canthite ore chunk. What do I do with it? You put it in the, well, wait a minute, no. You put it in the crusher and turn it into dirty crush, okay. This is getting into immersive geology, and I'll explain a bit better in a minute. This is a bloody dangerous piece of machinery. Immersive engineering is really serious stuff. When they say immersive, they are not fucking about. You step onto that and it will rip your armor off and chew you up in a matter of a second or two. Damage on this thing is phenomenal. Embedded in the ground at the edge of your, in the ground, and, you know, get zombies or something to spawn around it, and wow. This thing would make iron filings out of an iron golem in like, you know, 2 or 3 seconds. Electrically powered. This is a low voltage wire connector, and thus I'm able to use the cheap wire on it. Same with the blowers for the blast furnace over here. And the wire goes up there, and we just, you know, the room is wired for electricity in a very Victorian sort of way. It's all done with, you know, the connector. You have a connector that goes onto the machinery or the power source. You know, the connectors are at either end, and then you have relays that go between them. Maneuver very carefully here so I can point to that. Yeah, that's what your relays allow you to bridge off and connect multiple wires and do all sorts of things. The improved blast furnace is itself coke powered, but it moves a heck of a lot faster, as you can see, especially once you have electrically powered blowers on either side of it. And here we are, we're just making iron right now out of iron oxide. The metal press here creates a lot of the parts that we need for later technology in immersive engineering. You feed it with ingot, and it produces, well, at the moment, I think it's making wire. No, that looks like plate. Question. Good question what that is. What are you making? Plate. Okay, cool. We'll wrap that back on. You sneak to remove. There we go. Wire, rod, bullet casing, gear, unpacking. You can pack stuff in 2x2 or 3x3. This also these come in useful for some other things. So, low voltage machinery room. At this point, we have the ability to crush ore. We can use an electric blast furnace to produce large quantities of steel and stuff. And then we have our metal press, which will do all of our fancy shaping for our specialty parts and let us start building stuff. Yes, there's rather a lot of stuff back there, but I'm not going to get into it just yet. That's another mod. Let's walk out and around. Actually, let's just go see what we got here. LV Machinery we were just at. So we'll go to the biodiesel refinery because that's our next stop. That really is our next stop. Getting biodiesel going is crucial to the final tier of the mod. I've got electricity coming in from the go up to the rooftop here. Electricity coming in from up here. You've seen windmills in Create before. These are electricity. These have dynamos on the back. And let me just go game mode creative so I can fly without having to worry about whatever I'm using. Kinetic dynamo. The windmill vanes turn the dynamo, which produces electricity. The one kinetic dynamo produces not a whole heck of a lot of voltage, so we're taking off 256 IF. It converts roughly to FE 1-to-1. LV wire connector down to a relay that is collecting from multiple windmills. We've got it all set up nice and neat and in both parallel and series. No, it does not add to voltage or anything. It does, however, give me a really good steady flow into this capacitor. The capacitor then has a takeoff line that goes off this way and goes down to our low voltage room, machinery room that we were just in, and there's the fluid pump. That the coke ovens are just the other side of that wall, so there's the fluid pump that is pulling the creosote oil out of those ovens and dumping it into this tank, which dumps to that tank, to that tank, to that tank. There's 4 tanks, good gosh. And then we have a pipe here that's bringing water up to here. Have a rooftop storage tank. Again, really classic old school engineering. There is a pump that then hauls the water out of the tank and pressurizes a line that goes down to a variety of things here. I've got running water supplied. There's ways to hide the pipes, or at least embed them in walls and, put stuff around them to mask them. But given that this, I was intending to go back and do some work on that, but, couldn't be. Once things kind of went kaput, it couldn't be arsed. Yeah, there is a stairway up here. Go back to the refinery. The refinery is being powered by the electricity coming down from the rooftop windmill farm. I'm bringing down MV here. So we're coming at this point. I brought MV down from the generator, and we'll get that going, that in a minute. This was this was all originally powered by the 2 big water wheels running kinetic dynamos That got me enough electricity to get get the process kick-started, make enough diesel fuel, biodiesel fuel, to fire up the big generator. Once I got the big generator fired up, then I was able to bring electricity down from it at medium voltage and power everything so that it could just run continuously. The fluid tanks are buffers, always set up with a buffer. The industrial squeezer here, it does exactly that. It's a whacking big press, and this one at the moment is cracking industrial hemp seeds to make plant oil. That industrial hemp that we looked at earlier, that it said the seeds are useful for biodiesel. Yeah, you put them in a squeezer and you make plant oil. The squeezer also does a number of other things for materials production and such. Well, so fluid tank full of plant oil feeding into a refinery. Over here, we have an industrial fermenter, which right now doesn't have anything going on. That's a little upsetting. We're a little. Let's fix. Well, no, I can't. I don't have room in my inventory. You can throw apples or sugar cane or all sorts of stuff in the fermenter, and it will make ethanol. That then goes off to the refinery. The refinery takes the plant oil and the ethanol and makes biodiesel. The biodiesel is then pumped into this tank. Tank then supplies biodiesel through this pipe up to this buffer tank. Again, put in a buffer tank. This is a basic thing with immersive engineering I learned early on. Put in a buffer tank. And that powers the diesel generator, which there is no way to make this thing much less loud. It's just gonna be loud. This is why my suit has ear protectors. The thing is loud enough that if you don't have ear protectors, you like start taking damage and stuff. It's amazing. So, whacking huge diesel engine, cranking a big dynamo and producing high voltage. High voltage goes out to the high voltage capacitors. There's 3 of them. Again, buffer. Always buffer. Those go through high voltage transformers down to medium voltage capacitors, again buffering. The medium voltage capacitors then power the biodiesel refinery down below. So this thing is self-powering, is self-perpetuating at this point. As long as I keep feeding hemp seeds and apples into the refinery, it'll make biodiesel, and that thing will run forever on that huge tank. And then I've got all the backup power in the capacitors. Those are pumps that are capturing a byproduct. We'll get to them in just a minute there for another mod. Let me stop and think where we are. This is the arc furnace. There are some things you can only make in an arc furnace. It requires high voltage to power it. The arc furnace will use catalysts. It'll do alloys. It'll do massive amounts of stuff all at once, but be prepared. Oh shoot, my heat. Oh lordy, I just looked over at my heat. I think I got a problem here. Okay, we're going to pause the game for a second and hope I don't lose the stream again. Because, last week I had a visit from Heat Miser that was kind of unexpected, and all of a sudden my stream went kapop, and I was not watching the heat tack. I was looking at the other monitor. So we're going to pause the game for a couple of minutes and see if I can get my system heat to come down so that I don't drop the signal. Immersive engineering is very processor intensive. It is very cycle intensive. And running it while I'm streaming is really cooking my system. Oh, come on, baby, you can do it. Do it. That temperature to go. Shh, that's not good. Come on. 47, 46. There we go. Now, we're coming down a little bit. I really, really want to get on with the stream here. Okay, we'll give it just a minute. The arc furnace. Yeah, I was talking about the arc furnace. The arc furnace is the top end for the multi-block machinery for in immersive engineering. These machines are multi-blocks. You have a lot of different pieces that you have to make and stack up a very specific way, and then you right-click it in the correct spot with the engineer's hammer, and it converts from blocks to a unified machine. You right-click to get the multi-block to assemble. This is standard in a number of mods, multi-blocks. The arc furnace is the final tier multi-block for immersive engineering. Not only will it power through huge amounts of metal processing in an extremely short time, it will also produce things that you just can't make with anything less. The arc furnace cranks up to temperatures way beyond what you could ever get with fossil fuels. The fact that we're running on biodiesel and not on a fossil fuel also makes me happy here. Like I said, we're effectively running on hemp seed and apples. Just with a lot of processing. Let's see, how's my temperature looking? The tachometer has edged back a little bit. Let me proceed, and we'll go on with this. Let's go on and get some stuff done here. Let's go to the titanium works. I'm going to go here and then kind of zoom through it and not explain anything for a second while I zap forward over to here, because I really want to be over on this side first. This is Immersive Geology. Immersive Geology allows you to produce a rather large number of metals from ore the way they actually are produced. So we have here a gravity washer, and it's given a water supply here. Remember that water supply we saw coming up, and what we're going to do is we're going to start flinging some of this dirty crush into it and just huck it right over the top here. That should, nope, not quite hitting it. Okay, come on. There we go. All right, got most of it in. The goal here is to, you actually have to throw your dirty crush in. This is dirty crushed ore. It's just come through the crusher and it's got all sorts of stuff in it that is not necessarily what you want. So you throw it into the top of this column and it goes around and around, down and down to Goblin Town in the ongoing stream of water that basically pans the ore for you. It's a thing. I'm going to throw a bunch of this stuff in here, which I can get in fairly quickly. I want to drop it in here. Just a minute. This is how you get metal. They say immersive, they really put some work into it. Now, the sad thing being, the original developer of Immersive Geology has left not only development, but has left Minecraft in general. Dev just completely burned out on the whole thing. The good news being they had a German dev who was very interested in picking it up. As far as I know, the repository was handed over, and the new dev has the code and is working on it, but I haven't seen any news in a while as to any sort of progress being made. So I don't know if Immersive Geology is alive or not at this point. It seems kind of doubtful, which is a real shame, as it's wonderfully complex. Down. Okay, and there we can see all this ore whirling around down and down through this thing and ending up down here where we are getting crushed chalcocite ore and a bit of crushed pyrite ore. So what I'm going to do is just see, what do we do with well, chalcocite. Crushed chalcocite ore, what do we do with it? We put it into the reverberation furnace and make it into chalcocite slag and sulfur dioxide, which we want to then capture. Okay. Pyrite ore. You'll need JEI with this mod. Absolutely. See, you cannot survive without it. It makes iron oxide and a little bit of sulfur dioxide. So there's where some of our iron oxide has come from that we were smelting in, oh, maybe not. It may have been washed here. Sphalerite. We have sphalerite. Sphalerite. Well, with sphalerite, we can put it in the reverberation furnace and get sphalerite slag and sulfur dioxide. Again, with the sulfur dioxide. Hey, the sulfur dioxide gets captured. This is a reverberation furnace. It is a multi-block. It does not quite register correctly, but it is a multi-block. I can feed, oops. Oops. It's currently working on some stuff here. There we go. It's currently working on sphalerite. Why don't I bring the sphalerite over and see about loading more sphalerite? Okay, this, that, and... All right, bring it over here. Now this thing has to have, it's its own stuff going on here. We have, again, blowers, powered blowers here. Put that in there. This in here. And that goes in there. And what do we do with sphalerite slag? Sphalerite slag we take to the crusher and make it into sphalerite grit. Sphalerite grit then goes back to the gravity ore separator, the big column we were just mucking about with, and gets separated into iron oxide and zinc oxide. So we're getting iron and zinc both from sphalerite. So we've got the slag. We need to take the slag to the crusher and turn it into grit. Here's our slag. Come over here. Back this way. Oh yeah, hemp production. Didn't go in there yet. And boop, and you just throw it in. It's very in-world, and all this stuff is processing through that machine. Oh, there's all sorts of different things that you end up making. This is my hemp production at this point. It also produces hemp seed, industrial hemp fiber hemp seed. Those are cloches. They are, right now they're switched off. I don't need them. The switch up there. Let's turn the switch on. What the heck? Come up here and turn the switch on. And there we go. Now, the conveyor belts do not have to be powered. Conveyor belt segment is in immersive engineering is built in squares like trapdoors, and they're already running and you just connect them together. Don't have to worry about powering them. Each of these cloches is now growing industrial hemp. It has it's been planted, and there you can see the plants popping up. It's very quick. Supply with electrical power, and next thing you know, here's all this stuff comes sailing around the conveyor belt and into the chest, and there's where our hemp seed comes from for our biodiesel. So, yeah, all this. We've got a lot of piping here for immersive geology because we spend a lot of time with chemical tanks. The refinery over here takes the sulfur dioxide and processes it with water to make sulfuric acid. Sulfuric acid is fed in here and reacted with, I think, rock salt. I'm not sure. Anyway, makes an acid which you feed over here. The scheelite grit goes in there and produces eventually titanium coming out there. Yeah, this immersive geology is more chemistry because you have to make various acids and process things through various acids. And hopefully, and then you get all sorts of things out. Like here, I'm getting gypsum processed as a byproduct of some other stuff. Over here, this is the titanium works. We capture sulfur dioxide coming off the reverberatory furnace. We process it into sulfuric acid, which feeds into this tank. We then feed that over. Oops, came around the wrong direction. It's a little tight in here. We then feed sulfuric acid over to here to make hydrochloric acid. The hydrochloric acid then feeds over, and we produce over here, this makes titanium chloride, which is piped off to this vat here, which finally produces titanium oxide that we can then smelt into titanium ingots. Now, this is where things broke down, because I had tried to pipe the hydrochloric acid, and I had tried to put a Y on the pipe and run hydrochloric acid over to this tank as well as that tank, where I was intending to produce nickel oxide and then fire it off into a, trying to remember what this machine even is. It doesn't identify it properly. When Immersive Geology doesn't assemble quite correctly. But I should have been able to produce nickel. And for some reason, trying to put the branch on the pipe screwed up the flow, and now none of the stuff downstream of the hydrochloric acid tank works, and the tank itself doesn't work right. I fought with it for a while and gave up on it. But yeah, there's the nickel oxide that goes into the tank over there, or way over there, and then produces the material that gets zapped into nickel there. So yeah, it didn't quite go. And so we're getting so much noise because the diesel generator is directly above us. That's the two smokestacks we were looking at earlier when we were up on the roof, that had the pump on top of them in order to capture the sulfur dioxide and bring it down here so that we could force it off into the refinery and make hydrochloric acid eventually. Oof. Yeah, so immersive geology just is utterly fascinating to me, because you're walking through all these industrial processing steps in world and building chemical tanks and piping acids and here and there and all this stuff. And then it sort of banjaxed down, and there was the dev issue, and which is why I never went anywhere with the glow cane. Now we should pop up to the roof one more time and pop over here and have a look at this piece of machinery, because this is the last piece of equipment for immersive geology. This is the rotary kiln. You drop stuff into the top and it is processed as it tumbles down this incredibly hot pipe, and eventually you get things like sodium oxide that you can use for all sorts of goodies. Yeah, this thing's got 3 bus connections on it. I've only got one hooked up because I really only needed one. But you could run 3 lines to it if you wanted to. It depends really on how much processing you're intending to do. You may need more power lines feeding it from more sources if you're doing really heavy stuff. I was hoping to, and then it didn't work out. The problem was the immersive railroading mod. And I'm going to go to the interlude screen for a minute while I change game worlds. The immersive railroading screen mod just didn't work. And I battled with it for quite some time. I tried running it under 1.16.5. I tried running it under 1.12. I could not get the Crucible multi-block to assemble. The Crucible multi-block is the first machine for immersive railroading. If you cannot build the Crucible, you will not be able to make the castings necessary. You can't make frames to build railway cars on or locomotives. You have to have the Crucible to be able to cast the frames. So without being able to get it to assemble, the auto build did not put on sandpit. There should have been a way, there were problems just up and down. Okay, let's see. Let's flip here and need to connect to that. No. And let there be Minecraft. And there was Minecraft. Okay, we are over in the Create Trains world in 1.20.1. Go. Okay, let's take a bit of a tour here. Take a bit of a tour and see what all is new since our last visit. Because, yeah, there's been some stuff happen. I'm going to run through very quickly, make sure I don't have anything processing here that I need to attend to. Making rather a lot of copper, continuing to make brick, that's made iron, yeah, sure. Train is still delivering the iron. Fun stuff is going to be around the back. I'm going to pop up here just to make sure what's going on. I don't think I have anything running here at the moment. Okay. Let's just pop around to the storage room because there is some fun here. Look at that. I have got a spouting arrangement set up here with all sorts of Wonka-ish stuff going on. There's a tank here with honey in it. There is a tank here with rather a thumping lot of chocolate in it and more pouring in from what we are hearing right here. And, ignore the beacon. That's necessary for the storage system. We have a chocolate mixer going here. Yes, bossy. Thank you. We just ran out of sugar. So, we'll be going to look at sugar in a cane in a minute. Milk tank. Milk tank is full. We have 500 buckets of milk there. And here is the electric auto cow. Electrically powered. There's the motor right there. And there's an empty bucket going up. And the empty bucket goes into here and gets sent to the deployer, hooked up at the cow, and then put across the drain. And back around. Around and around and around we go. Whoops. H. E. let us trade for a fresh back tank. Thank you. Yeah, there's Bossy up there in a pen, and there's a deployer that every now and then pokes an empty bucket at her. It's kind of a shit life, but then, you know, that's kind of life. And there goes a bucket. Boom. Feeds into here. Milk pipe up there that feeds the basin for the chocolate mixer, but also feeds around to here and down to here to the spout. If I throw throwing one of these levers, will fill the spout with either chocolate, milk, or honey. At which point I can put pastries across the conveyor belt and make, oh, say, chocolate donuts. We flip the lever, and I look in here, and I'm willing to bet that I've got a couple. Let's see, here are donuts. Yes, 1, 2, and 4, and there we go, because that's now full of chocolate. As we can see, we'll throw the lever to stop the fill. We now have enough chocolate in there to make 4 donuts. We'll pop donuts in, and the donuts go down the conveyor belt and get squirted with chocolate. Spout is now empty, waiting for the next item. And we have 4 chocolate donuts, just like that. Isn't that cool? This is, of course, not industrial scale here, although I have a rather pumping lot of chocolate built up. This really isn't designed for industrial scale. This is small scale baking here. This is all test equipment. Pretty much anything built at the mansion should be regarded as test equipment, experimental stuff. For example, all the stuff out back where I've been testing farm designs. Yes, chicken. I know. There are birds everywhere. I've had so many chicken escapes. It's ridiculous. Okay, so first thing we've got here is a farm. This is a tomato farm. It is growing. I'm growing Farmer's Delight tomatoes here, which have lost most of their trellising. That's really disconcerting. Where did the damn trellising go? This was not like this previously. Let me... Something's happened here that I find very disconcerting. Damn it. I'll have to fix that. You know, up out of there and pop that rope. And it's on the conveyor belt now, that's fine. Wait, what the hell happened here? I mean, seriously, this is not right. I can fix this here, because what I had was the tomatoes all trellised up, and you know, getting 3 tomatoes off of the plants here, multiple tomatoes by going vertical. I'm really disconcerted that the rope all, like, got broken. That's... Did it end up over here? No. Did it end up in here? No, it did not, because the hopper hawk is filtered so that it can only pick up tomatoes. This is not a good design. I'm not happy with it. It's inefficient. I'm figuring on going to a hollow square design with the hopper hawk in the middle and doing away with the conveyor belt entirely. But I'm worried about the deployers breaking the trellis ropes. That's problematic. That's highly problematic. I'm going to huck these things into here. I'm going to storage. There we go. So yeah, this is experimental and is not working out as well as I'd hoped. That's an agri-carnation from the Botania mod, which is bone mealing the tomatoes on a steady basis. It randomly bone meals crops. There's a couple of chickens in that box. We saw that last time. That's the bird box, and there's the sugarcane farm. Not a lot of sugarcane at the moment to take to the chocolate factory, but that's okay. Cocoa beans. Over here we've got wheat, which is not getting harvested in the corners. Got to remember about the corners. I need to put the water in the corners, not on the sides where that water really should be like there. Oh, if I can manage it. Need to rethink the design, the layout of the field to get better efficiency. Agri-carnations all the way around to encourage growth here. Wowzers. Let's just put away the donuts. I can get them back out later when I go to the airship station. Ooh, bunch of stuff that had backed up in the harvester, I think. Need to check this thing more often. It's pretty effective, all the agri-carnations, let me tell you. Thinking of, what I may do here is go on and take out a couple of them. Maybe I don't need the growth being encouraged quite that much. Okay, so various agricultural equipment that I'm testing out. Farm designs being tested. The cocoa bean farm works reasonably well. I'm actually pleased with it. It's been chugging along and just doing quite nicely. The tomato farm has obviously got a design flaw. I'm not sure what the problem is and why I had so many broken ropes. You know, I should have a vertical farm here growing 3 layers or 3 tomatoes 3 high. And the iron hoe held in the deployer should be right-clicking, which should not break the rope. I really don't know why it did that. That's just disconcerting. I don't like it. Oh, Lord. Alright, we're going to, let's see. We've seen the chocolate works, the low-level chocolate works. We've seen the farm equipment. Let me bounce out to the airship station. New Express. Okay, and we're going to chill here for a couple of minutes and just wait for the world to settle down and watch my heat tachometer. Let's go pick the elevator up and put the donuts away. Still have not figured out the safety door. Been working on central kitchen stuff. Jetpack does not like the elevator. Okie doke. We already have some chocolate donuts. We'll have some extra chocolate donuts because, you know, that's a popular item. Probably should have a few extra. Go. Stuff that I have made so far. Brownies. Brownies each live in a cake pan, a brass cake pan, and so they're not stackable. Brass cake pans get put under the chocolate spout, and hey presto, it's a brownie, no bake. Same with the chocolate pie. You send a pan with a wheat pie crust under a chocolate spout. Sweet donut, that's what the milk is for. Spout milk onto a donut, you get a sweet donut. Spout honey into a pie crust, you get a honey pie. Spout it onto an apple. So I've been working on getting these things done. Learning how to make these things. The goal eventually is to get a farm put together. What I'm probably going to do is put it down around here somewhere. Maybe around this crevasse, I don't know. I'm thinking about, you know, where would be a good place to put it and where's a good farm station location. There's brushland here. I could do something with that. Fortress, you know, I don't want to muck with that. I could put it down this way. There's nothing down here. And that's Savannah, which would be easier to clear than the brushland. You know, it's a matter of I've been thinking about where I'm going to put it. The farm is going to pivot off the central storage system. It'll have its own it'll have its own Tom storage. And all the auto farms will drop into Tom's hoppers and into the central storage. And what I'll do is I'll build the storage first, lay it out, and then put in the various farms at the connection points that I've laid out. I'll put the infrastructure in first. I've done some rough sketching in a notebook. So with the various auto farms feeding into central storage, and then the workstations for smelting to produce baked cooked items, and compacting and sequential assembly can all go on the far side of the storage. You know, we'll have one area that's a factory, and another area that's the farm that produces the raw ingredients for the factory. Then the factory will need to have a rail depot. And I'm going to have to think about loading and unloading of foodstuffs. No? I mean, I can use a hopper car and just drop it all into a vault and then extract it to various stations using brass funnels to sort and so forth. I've done, oh gosh, I could use I could build a distributor. I've built distributors before for the dye factory and the chocolate factory and the world I did with Life After Beth. Okay. We've had a moment for my system to cool. That was getting to be a bit of a thing. Pardon me taking that moment, but I did not want to drop the stream. Bad. Okay, so we were talking about where I was thinking about putting stuff. There's been no progress on the airship station since last week. I think I've at this point pretty much covered everything that's had any sort of real progress. Oh, I should do thing here. Let me bounce back to the crusher. Okay, catch that. This machinery area has had a lot of dressing up. I put scaffolding to support the tank so it's not just hovering there. Threw in a bit of scaffolding here and there where needed, and design casing on a lot of stuff. Trying to make this look, excuse me, a little less thrown together. Although, if you've been to an actual small farm, yeah, this is kind of what they look like. You know, odd bodged together machinery, chickens running everywhere. Okie doke. We got going here. Let's see how much iron I've got. Oh, so I'll go to. Just got this thing down. Anything else? Anything else? Trying to think if there's anything else I need to do to like stuff. So, I really don't think so. Okay. Let's see. It's all fairly tight. This gets out to. Whoop. Hi there. Okay. Here are the tracks. Fairly close. What I'm looking at is trying to get away from areas with an area where the tracks on a cut and to where they're out in the open so that I don't have build a station in a cut for station. Let's go on and put farm station here. Let's see. Train signals. A station. Station. Compass. Make a compass. Station. Make two station. The storage. Other one is a temporary placement. Okay. That gets the signals put in to set up a safe zone around the station to farm station. Then start clearing land. Space a minute. Okay, this shouldn't be a thing here. A donkey has come to see what I am at. Hello, donkey. I don't know, like, what you eat. Mention something like. Yeah, you probably don't think much of what I'm doing. Baiting what here. Okay, do I actually need. Feeling like maybe the rod of the terra firma is full. Give it a hit and see what stuff in. Let's get out the rod. This thing is always problematic. Something bad just happened. Did we just. Did I just, like, block the donkey in or something? What the hell happened there? Something bad happened. That was a good noise. Alright. That should be plenty of room. Demon Dog, welcome. How you doing this morning? I am using an extremely dangerous tool here to do some land clearing. Preparation here. I'm getting ready to put in a industrial farm and food processing factory. Thinking about what kind of space I actually need. Let's see. Space I actually need. Need a depot of some sort there to have a loading depot. Excuse me. I'm gonna need a freight train that does not stop at the mansion. It stops here and at the airship station. And it's going to carry food. Let's see. So that's going to be designed out for that. I need depot and storage for that. Just going to be a item vault. Everything feed into I can create item vault. This direction. Stop and think here. Just arrive. Signal there. Station. So 6, 7, 10, 12, 13, 16, 17, 21 here. Get loading anything. 21 blocks back to the first one. So six, 16. All right. One interface on the top and it's dead center, so it goes here. So this is where signage. Alright, so there's my loader point for the hopper car right there. So that's where my loader is. Item vault nearby. Loader has to go above. Item vault by and processing. I gotta stop and think. Baking. I'm gonna stuff. The farm can be out a bit. I can give myself lots of space here. Why don't I oof. That's 50 blocks. That's a lot. It's, Summon. Okay, this is where storage is going. Pretty dangerous as heck, but so useful. Alright, so if storage goes here, Better idea. Okay, so I have now 4 cables reaching out in the general direction that where the farm's going to go. I have 1 cable that runs underneath and will supply the factory. I think the game is loud. Game, let's see. Let's look at the music sounds. Master volume down. Bring the master volume down to like 50%. See what that does for us. See how that does for us. Okay. And doing this like this, I'm planning a silo. Planning on putting sort of red building material around it and figure out how to do a little dome on top. And planning on making it look like a silo. Careful. That off. And that gets me 972 slots available already. Factory, not that way. Factory is going to need power. Factory is going to need a bolt. No water supply for some distance. I'm going to have to make my own supply. Okay. That's easy enough. Dig a hole, put a few buckets of water. Do that. We can do that. Oh. Okay. Farm, however, is going to go out this way. So I need this out. Let's see. Don't we start a sugarcane farm? That's a really straightforward one. And the design. Just need to the. Okay, let's see. Just go 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and should probably Hopper. Chest. 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 That. Shoot. On chest. And pull. See. Okay. Sugar cakes at the first block. Harvester. Second block up. Which means the. On the bases. Here. That should and will are two different things, but you know, should work. Okay, so that. Yep. Radial chassis, do I have any built? Radial chassis, like it. Okay. Radial chassis, need chassis, my name. Stop and think here. That there's the gap, so 1, 2, 5, 6, click. Okay. Chassis on that. Planks. 5. Gap. Here. Chest. Okay. Mechanical stairs. Here we go. Mechanical harvester. Got it. Harvester 6. Stuff. Sale. left out. I've learned build the harvester first, then plant the field. It's been an important lesson. Hey, dog. Okay. Alright, we're going in the correct direction. Terminals. If I see them flash through. Look like it connected. Connected. Okay, there's a plot gap that should be. There we go. And I'm gonna shoot. Thing here. We've used a slot. Okay. That. Storage terminal should be sufficient. Stone. Glowstone. Damn it. Screw it. Stack of stone. Screw go into damn stuff. Storage terminal. Now, storage terminal. Stick on. Stick it on. Place. Let's be on. So, stick it. Cable connector. Let's see. Cable connector. Cable connector. Connected to that cable. But an idea here. Maybe poker. There we go. That did it. Now I can see those wheat seeds. Haha. Okay, got its terminal up and see the wheat seeds, which means that we are functional here. I'm going to stop that because now I have to put sugarcane in around it. And that's going to be where we're going to wrap up here, I think. About to hit clock. I got a little bit of stuff to do, and then at 1 o'clock, the Eurovision Nationals start up again. This is our last, I think, Super Saturday. 1 o'clock to 6 o'clock today, Central Time. I will be watching Eurovision Finals. I'm very, very interested to see what happens with Sungvakipnen, Iceland. Iceland has already said that they will leave the decision of whether they participate in Eurovision this year partly up to the winner, Sungvakipnen, because of the presence of Israel and the fact that there's genocide. And Iceland has right now the bookies are giving a 47% chance that Iceland will send a Palestinian singer to Eurovision. If Bashar Murad wins, I am quite certain that he will go to Malmo. He's got a message to deliver. Just sending him would deliver a message, you know? See what happens. In the meantime, I need to put sugarcane around this, but we are going to sit here and go to OBS and come to the in break screen because I'm getting down to the wire here. It has been another 2 hours spent mucking about with Minecraft. May have maybe learned something. Certainly tried a few things out. I will be back tomorrow night at 8:30 p.m. Central. That's 8:30 p.m. UTC -6 with a much more chill vibe and Roots of Pacha. We'll be continuing our exploration of Neolithic agricultural development in a farm sim. And of course, Minecraft will be back next Saturday, 8 a.m. UTC -6, same bat time, same bat channel. If you are interested in my previous casts, my VODs are on YouTube. The URL is on the screen. I am proud to be a member of the Truck Community Streamers. Our schedule is on the screen also, schedule.truck.community. There's something going on every day. Check us out. We have a large and diverse group of people doing all sorts of interesting things. Until then, I am the Wandering Beekeeper, and you're not. And we'll catch you next time. Ciao.